Hello, beloved ones. 𝐭𝐫𝐮𝐬 here, your authentic self embodiment, soul liberator, and quantum witch doctor. I'm just here to talk a little bit about something that I felt it's time we talk about, but I have to apologize for showing up late. It seems we have this I don't know, love and hate relationship between me and tech. It shows up in different ways. So my camera is not working. I'm using the camera that I don't often use. And how are you all feeling? How are you all doing? That's what I want to ask you. Oh my God, I'm so sweaty because I was trying to sort this out. How you all doing? Magnificent, passionate, confident, powerful, and sensual creators. Because that's how I see you in your power. And the question is, do you see that in you? Are you willing to embrace that which you are in truth, or you are so caught up in the stories of who you are not? That's just what I want to ask you, and I would like you to feel into that. If it's the first time watching this, I am empowering heart-centered leaders. And I love to ask this question when I talk about heart-centered leaders. Do you perceive yourself as a heart-centered leader? Whether you are a mother or a father, do you perceive yourself as that? And I'm mentioning mothers first because I know that as mothers, we like to play small and we don't think of ourselves of anything bigger than the motherhood role that we have taken over, which is an attachment to a label, right? So I empower heart-centered leaders to shed the masks, different kinds of masks that we're wearing. We're hiding behind labels, we're hiding behind stories, we're hiding behind blaming other people, we're hiding behind the comfort zone, we're hiding behind the inner critique that we don't even get to hear, that magnificent voice of who we are that is coming through. We don't even get to hear the inspiration that is coming through for us. Just take a deep breath and feel into that. What are you hiding behind? And the topic for today is, it's true, but does it serve you to hold into that identity? I would like to hear what you get to say about that, because I have lived that life of, you don't understand, this is happening to me, like a lot of stories. I've lived into a life of somebody's doing something to me. That was my life. I've lived a life of identifying myself as powerless, just looking at the experiences that I was going through. And I'm here to ask you that, are you holding into it's true? Like I said, a lot of people go through different heartbreaking things. And as much as it's true, if you identify with that belief, if you attach to that label, if you attach to that diagnosis, if you attach to that incident that happened, you're going to live your life feeling worse and not moving anywhere, getting stuck into that imaginary safe place. Because it's you just imagining that you are safe because you have created that space as a child who might have not felt safe, and you go into that space, yeah, to feel safe in there, but it's not safe because that safety that you're trying to feel in your mind, imaginary space, it's blocking you from growing, it's blocking you from really going out there and living your life. You are always keeping on repeating experiences that you had, incidents that you had, and affirming how life is unfair, how life is about suffering, how people are not to be trusted, how nothing that you do is going to work because you are not enough, you are stuck in the insecure, feeling inferior, feeling inadequate, and you always, I mean, even if someone is coming through to help you, what you feel is like they're trying it's a threat in your safe space. So what you do is you just want to bite off their head because you don't feel safe. Therefore, anyone who is coming through, it's someone who is threatening you to take you out of your safe space, you know. So it's difficult for someone to hold your hand when you are in that space where you do not want your hand to be held. And I would like you to just look at your experiences, whatever that you might have gone through, and just see where they are stopping you from really living the life that you desire, that you deserve. Where are they stopping you from fully growing into the magnificent being that you are, from really using your ability and your capability to create the life that you deserve? Because some of these things we go ahead and even pass on to our children without even realizing we are doing it. But if you are stuck and someone is doing something to you, it's going to be the same pattern that you're going to pass into your children. And tomorrow they'll be saying that my mommy did this. Because like I said, I had a conversation which was more like an argument, so to say, because this is someone who knows her power, you know, and she was going through a situation that really demanded her to observe, but she chose to merge with it. And when she contacted me, she was contacting me to say, you know, I went through a lot because my mom did this to me. Da, da, da. We've had that conversation below. So I asked her, do you want some help or what? Like after having a small conversation. And she said, no, I don't want your help. I don't want your help. Okay, cool. But she kept on coming back, but with complaints and complaints and complaints. And I asked her, do you really see the pattern that you are replaying here? Because you are going through a situation that really demands you to raise your hand or to take a stand and say, I'm not going to play this victim pattern. I'm not going to look for someone to blame, because at that point, she just wanted someone that she can blame, so that either someone who can hug her and they stay together into that pity party of, oh, our parents are bad, they treated us like this, da, 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 which, like I said, it could be true, you know. But on the other hand, they did the best that they could with what they best knew. That's also true. But at the same time, for a child who didn't know how to deal with whatever that was showing up, it's unfair. It's true. Sometimes sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, all sorts of things that happen. We lose our loved ones. We go through divorces. We go through relationships that are toxic. It's true. But imagine if we get stuck in these patterns, or we just hold into this identity of, you don't understand what happened to me. You don't understand what they did to me. Where is that going to take us? And if you are living your life in that, maybe you have a pain and it's kind of like, oh, this pain or diagnosis is kind of like, I'm this kind of person. Because I still remember this amazing lady who, she told me like all the diagnosis and all that. That's the reason why she couldn't get a job, you know. And after working with her, she got a job, you know, and she loves what she does. But before, she was telling me why she couldn't, because she's got ADHD. And I told her, you can go ahead and look for people who have ADHD who are not working, or you can look for people who have ADHD and they have used it to their advantage. It doesn't matter what is showing up in your life. What matters is what you make of it. Are you willing to take that challenge and turn it into something else, or you want to hold into it and let it be a reason why you cannot live the life that you deserve? Let it be a reason why you do not live your life the way, according to your abilities and your capabilities. You've got a choice at all times. They did this to me. ABC is happening to me. I lost my job. I lost my loved one, partner, parents, and all that. You can hold into that. And I'm not saying it's not painful. I fully do understand. But there's got to be a point where you realize that now this is just like a shield that I'm using to protect myself from so many good things that are meant to come into my life. Because if you are protecting yourself to say, I don't want to live life because I don't want to feel this pain, you are also protecting yourself from not embracing love, not loving, not feeling the joy, not, there's just so many things that could happen. But the question is, are you willing to open your heart to receive that, or are you willing to hold into what happened? Like I said, it's true. It happened. But is it empowering to live your life every day coming from that? Or you can just learn to live with that and also look at other things that are there, because there's so many things that are happening in this now moment that are great. There is so many opportunities and possibilities that are coming through for you. But the question is, are you available to take them on, or you are holding into, I'm old, I've got a pain here, I have this diagnosis, I am divorced, I'm a single mother, I have this position. At times it can be something positive. And these are some of the barriers that I help people identify and go deep with, even with the homework in the Shed Your Mask Challenge. The barriers that are stopping you from fully embody your authentic self. It's attachment to labels and to stories, which some of them are not true at all. When you look at the beliefs, you can look at the belief and realize this is not a true belief. That you are nothing, you are not worthy of love. That's not true. And then it could be something of maybe the abuse that you went through. It's true and it's painful. But if you identify with that, if you make that your identity, it's going to stop you from living your life. I had this amazing relationship with this amazing guy. I'll just leave it as that. And he had alcohol addiction. He was an amazing person. But he had his own way of being absent from a relationship for maybe 3 months or something like that. He was totally out, like absent. I mean, absent, you know. And when he's done with his 3 weeks, after like it was after every 3 months or after every 6 months. But when he comes back after 3 months, it's like, oh, nothing happened. Hi, baby. Da, da, da. And I'm like, huh? Because at that time, there is just that disconnection that happens. But when he comes back, it's kind of like nothing ever happened. I've always been present. What are you talking about? Like, we have to carry on from where we left, you know? And with this behavior, with this pattern, I held into the hope that this person can get some help. I knew there is some good in this person. And I looked into that potential and the power or he has to overcome this problem. But what surprised me at the end is when he said, you don't understand. There are people like me out there. And he brought a list, like he said, a list of celebrities, like different people who had this alcohol addiction problem. And people like him exist. And he cannot get any help from anyone. So it's just who he is. So you might as well just accept me as I am. If you're looking for someone who is whatever, that's not me. And that was a shock to even my system, because it seems like it became clear that I was holding into something that he was not in. As much as I was busy finding ways to help him overcome this problem, and the people who overcame that problem, he was busy staking on the beliefs why it's not possible, why it's not for me. You don't understand. I'm not meant for this world. Why the heck are you here if you're not meant for this world? You know, which is not true. The question is, are you willing to live your life from a different perspective, or you want to hold into why it's not possible? You want to hold into the pain that happened. You want to hold into giving away your power and your responsibility to other people to say, I am feeling like this. I am in this situation because someone has to make me feel better. Because if you believe that someone is responsible for how you feel, you have given your power away to those people, or you have given your power away to those circumstances. So where are you at? And is that really helping you? Is that what you want? Do you really want to continue living your life from feeling that you are powerless, whereas you know it's not true? feeling that experience that you had or that you are having, because probably you are going through that situation right now. If you continue believing that that's the only thing that could ever happen to you and that's just who you are, while it's just a tiny bit of the experience, one of the experiences that you had, and you can also experience the other end. I was sharing with someone how I went through the dark night of the soul, and a part of me wanted out. I felt like I'm done. I cannot take this anymore, you know. But as much as I was in this spiraling down of it's too much, something snapped, and I was just like, no, I've done a lot of work. I've went through a lot of stuff. And now it's time for me to flip the coin. It's time for me to experience life from the expansiveness of it. It's time for me to create my life in joy. It's time for me to be free and live the magnificent, luxurious, however that it's going to come through to me. Because when you have been through shit, your luxury might be different from somebody else's luxury. Even when you talk about success is different from someone else's definition of success. Even freedom, because for me, one of the biggest values that I live by is freedom to be myself. And it's quite interesting because as I expanded on this idea of freedom, there's just so many things that came through with different types of freedom. Even financial freedom is one of the things that we all desire, right? But at the same time, the question is, who do you have to be? Or who do you get to become? Who do you get to reveal for you to be worthy of the financial freedom? Time freedom. What do you get to do for you to be worthy of that time freedom? Energy freedom. Do you have that freedom for you to really release yourself from things that are not expansive, from things that are not serving you? Future freedom, to just say, you know what, right now my life, it might be the way that it is, but this is not how I'm going to continue living my life. I'm going to have the freedom that I desire in the future. However that you perceive that, it's just really claiming that power that you have and the choice that you have to live the life according to how you want to live it, and even align with the beliefs that are helping you to create that life that you desire, rather than living by default, by whatever. Because if you live your life according to what happened to you, it's kind of like somebody else out there had to decide how you're going to live your life in pain because certain things happen. Or you can look at all that and say, I'm deciding to choose to have everything in my power, and I'm going to use inspiration to create the life that I desire, rather than always running away because I'm desperate. Because at times, I don't know, there was a point where I would stay in a situation, no matter how uncomfortable it was, until it became too painful. And now I had to move out because I was in a desperate situation where it's kind of like, I'm going to die if I stay here any longer. Where like I said, the longer you stay in a toxic environment, the more unworthy you feel. Temporarily, it might feel like, oh, something is happening. It's kind of like, good, I can manage. I can chew from the other side. I can sit from the other side. But in the long term, you lose yourself. Actually, I was thinking of this today, that there was a time in my relationships where I could not even recognize myself. There are things that will happen, and that there's a way that I would react, there are things that I will do. And then after some time, I'll go like, oh my God, was that me? What was I thinking? If someone didn't stop me, if something didn't happen, where would I be right now? I'll just ask myself, like, who is that? So at times we stay in situations that are not healthy and functional for us, until the situation is out of hand, until you don't even get to recognize who you are. So remember, no one is responsible for how you feel. No one. And if you live your life from what happened to you, know that it's just you giving away your power, because you feel you have this imaginary space that you have created of safety, yet it's not safety. And what are you willing to do right now? If you know now that you know what you know, are you willing to continue from that space, or you want to change things? Because it's your choice at all times. Just take a deep breath there And tell me when you're watching this. If it's replay, tell me you're watching it from replay, where you're watching it from. What was your takeaway from this? Is it okay for you to continue as an adult, 40 plus, 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus, 30 plus, saying my mother did this to me, therefore I deserve to hold into this anger and push everyone away? Because some of the relationship, they are not successful because you are pushing them away because of something that you can work on and let go of. You've got the power to do that. And the other power that you have, because I believe asking for help is one of the superpower that we have. Asking for help and being open to receive the help that is coming through. Like I said, I did a free 7 days challenge. And if you're watching this and you do not take advantage of that, the question is, what is stopping you? Do you really need help, or you just speaking about it, but you don't really need it? I've offered breakthrough calls. What is stopping you? Are your beliefs coming through? Immediately when you're supposed to book that call and you go like, nah, you go back to your comfort zone, which is not really comfort, but misery, because I've lived through that. And I'm just going to call it out as it is. The question is, are you willing to look at things differently? Because this is July 2022 that we are approaching right now. Do you see yourself repeating the same patterns over and over again? Or you are having new problems? Because I say, if you are having new problems, I celebrate you. Because new problems shows that you are growing. You are dealing with something different. If you are dealing with the same issues that you've been dealing with in the past 6 months, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, then find a different way of solving that. Otherwise, you're going to receive the same outcome. Just take a deep breath. What is your takeaway from this? And what are you willing to do differently from today? I would leave you with that. And if you feel called, I'm here for you. Book a call and let's have a conversation. Much love from 𝐭𝐫𝐮𝐞.